All right, let's start, guys. How we feeling today? It's Tuesday. Raise your hand if you felt like coming to the office today. I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, dude. I woke up, my allergies were killing me. I was like, I felt groggy. My eyes kind of hurt right now. But you know what? Because you guys are all here, I'm like, I gotta push and freaking suck it up and make it happen, guys. And usually those days when I don't feel like coming in is when we have the best meetings. That's kind of what I figured. But I'm excited to see you guys all. Let's talk about our week, guys. Positive focus. We always want to start off with just something positive. It could be a business or personal, maybe a win, maybe something going on in your personal life. Maybe is there anybody you want to shout out on the team for just being a team player or showing up for you? I need a couple examples. What are you feeling good about, guys? What's your positive focus today?
Shout out to Jason for support on the loans. We're funded today right now. Nice.
So funded a deal, closing a deal. Shout out to JC, support on the loan side. What was one way that Jason showed up for you on this loan?
He picked up the phone and I kept bugging him. I'm just kind of get through a little bit complex at times, but we got through that.
Couple bumps, but he picked up the phone, backed you guys up. You guys made it happen. Good stuff. Sheetal, talk to me. What do you got?
Okay, I got the Zillow connection call. I met them. They signed BRBC with me, and I connected them to a Zillow lender guy also. So that was a good win for me this Saturday.
Let's go.
Thank
New
you.
opportunities, following the system. Guys, I cannot tell you enough how much that is making an impact on how many leads you guys get. I mean, just to be honest, if you're sending the deals to Zillow, they're giving you more leads. It's just bottom line. Like I saw, like Mark has sent a few, John sent a few. And when I looked at how many times their phone rang compared to everybody else, it was like double or triple the amount of times, right? So Zillow is not playing, right? I know they've kind of like danced around it a little bit. You got to send so many. But bottom line is if you're sending the pre-approvals there, your phone is ringing more. Let's just call it what you want to call it. It's happening, guys, right? So
I think they're looking at, guys. I met with the rep last week. It's going to be the pre-approvals and then your conversion. Right? Those are the two things that they're paying attention to.
Yeah.
Right? So just keep converting, doing the basic of just converting and getting them pre-approved. You'll get more opportunity. I think John's on the number. He's number one on the leaderboard right now, and he's getting probably about 20 calls in about every 7 to 8 days. Right. His phone's ringing 20 times a week.
yeah.
Right. So again, for the agents that are saying, hey, my phone's not ringing enough. Well, one is his conversion is up there. And two, he's just also participating in sending those pre-approvals to Zillow.
The other thing to mention, guys, is it is conversion rate, but if you're new to Zillow Flex and you haven't converted anything, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like Megana, she hasn't converted anything yet, but she sent over Zillow pre-approvals and her phone is ringing a ton, right? Because they start you off like in the middle, basically. They start you off at fair. So as you get a pre-approval over and you still haven't closed anything, your phone's gonna ring more. So it's not just for someone like John who's already closed deals. It's also for anybody who's just on the program and hasn't closed anything.
What they look at, guys, is if you got 20 opportunities, right? If you got 20 opportunities, they want you to convert one, right? One loan and then one actually in contract.
Yeah.
So that's going to shoot you up. So if you're starting off, like Enrique is saying, if you're starting off with 0, but once you get to that 20, then that's when they're going to start grading.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what else we got? Positive focus. Talk to me.
Shout out to Patricia, worked at open house with me. Like usual open house, everybody kind of shows up at once.
Yeah.
So she helped me with her laptop. I've got one family signing in and other families are escaping, but she helped me out making sure.
There you
making
go.
sure that we were getting them all to fill out the form for us.
There you go. I was actually going to shout you out today too. That was my shout out today because I wanted to shout out Patricia for just taking the initiative, right? She's brand new. My girl's only 18 years old, guys, right? I don't know if you guys know that, but she is brand new in the business and like one couple weeks in and she's like, sign me up for the open house, right? Not only that, she made a really cool video, right? A day in the life of a realtor. I saw her video that she made where she's out there shooting content already and she's out there working her open house and putting her name out there, right? I have some veterans on our team, I'm not going to mention no names, right? That aren't putting out content, And so I just want to shout you out for really just taking the initiative and taking it serious. I mean, keep that same attitude, keep that same momentum, and you're gonna start growing, right? So let's give it up for her. So what else? George, talk to me, bro.
David, hope we close the deal on Thursday with the client. It was a little tough one. He was a business owner, and the wife was the one that was the main person on the loan. It was just a big, hectic, deal. But David and his team got it done. So
Shout out to Jorge.
Shout out, David.
Too, on both those deals.
Yeah,
Right on,
Richa
guys.
and Jorge, you're working with both of them. Let's go. George, so that's 2, right? 2 that you've closed so far. Just can you give us a little background? How long have you been with us? And you already got the 2 deals in.
So I originally started here in November, but didn't focus full time until the beginning of the year. So I want to say like January, mid-January, I started here. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when you actually like started.
yeah, when I actually started.
Yeah,
I was out of the game for a couple of years and
Yeah.
then decided to get back into it.
let's go, bro. Already got two closed, and I know you got other stuff you're working on as well, right? So just shout out, guys, to George, and you juggle another career too, right?
And a full-time dad.
And a full-time dad, juggling another career. I mean, guys, it's possible, right? You know what I mean? So that's one thing I want to point out. You know what I mean? If you stick with it and you show up and you take the info and you run with it, it's going to happen for you. You know what I mean? And George is a great example of that. Also, you had a booth that you
Yeah.
worked,
Yeah.
right? You and David worked the booth a couple weeks ago,
Late.
right?
Yeah.
Hey, but what I love, guys, is you're putting yourself out there, right? Remember, like, you don't want to be a secret agent. There's that old saying, right? You're not in the CIA. You don't want to be a secret agent. You're not a ninja, right? You want people to know what you do, right? You want to cast a wide net. You want to let people know you're in real estate. This is what I bring to the table. This is who I am, right? This is the knowledge that I have. This is the team I'm on, right? You want to document your hustle, right? And you want to put yourself out there, whether that's online, whether that's calling your friends and family, whether that's working a booth, and taking that initiative or open houses. I mean, that's how you're going to build momentum in your business, And what I found, the funny thing is you don't necessarily have to be the most technical or most advanced agent nowadays, right? But if you put yourself out there more, you get a lot more opportunity, right?
Marketing.
It's more marketing, right? The agent who markets themselves more gets more opportunity coming to them. And then, of course, you're going to get better as you go, right? So whatever level you're at, doesn't matter. Just shoot your shot, right? Put yourself out there, and then it'll happen. Let's get one more. Positive focus. Who got one more thing they want to share? Shout out or a win. What's something in your personal life, right? We always talk about the business wins. What's something in your personal life that you want to, that you feel good about? Blanca, talk to me.
Wait, oh, sorry. Personal or shout out? I wanted to do a shout out.
Personal.
Darn,
Like,
personal.
shout out.
Okay, shout out.
Either
Yes.
way.
I have a few. It's going to be like a group shout out, but it's necessary because it's my weekly day in the life of a realtor. Kudos to Patricia. I mean, she was super amazing. She held my open house. It was her first open house, I think. She was on it. She was slacking me, texting me. She followed me on Instagram. I felt like there was not going to be any form of a miscommunication. She had me dialed in. She's like, if I don't get her on text, phone, I'm slacking her, I'm Instagramming her. So she was very professional. I actually drove to the open house, guys. I drove to the open house because I wanted to make sure that she didn't need help or that she was okay, and the mom figure in me. So I got there, she was unloading, getting herself set up. I love her pink car. And it has room to it too. And she was all presentable, professional, and I felt just very confident that she was going to be able to handle this on her own. So, and then also Hayden was very communicative, professional as well. And then a big shout out to Shelly. Shelly has been hustling with these clients that we have been working on for some time. And we wrote an offer. We've been back and forth with the agent. I'm sure this is going to be a super growth and learning experience for her, because it's just been a little bit problematic. But Jason's the lender on this one, and our clients are very happy with our support and our teamwork. Our offer hasn't been accepted yet, but they know that they're in good hands with all of us, on their side, and just Shelly's just been on it as well. Like we have a group text with the clients and she side texts me, Wonka, what does that mean? She doesn't understand something that the agent messages me on, and right away I get a ding and it's like, wait a minute, I'm confused. So she's proactively just learning and just soaking everything up. And I want to congratulate her. We're glad that she's back on. And I know she's there at the office. I couldn't make it today to the office, but kudos to everybody on our team. I really feel, and I'm honored and proud of each of the agents who are doing all of this and following our format. It makes me feel good. Feels like we're doing something good. Congrats, guys.
Let's go. Let's give it up. Awesome. Good, good positive focuses, guys. Good sharing there. Definitely feeling the energy today. We have a couple guests in the house that we're going to introduce really quick. If you want to just raise your hand, give us like the 10-second who you are, bro, why you're here.
I'm Anthony. I got into real estate with David around 4 years ago. I've been inactive since we worked together for like a year or two. And I'm excited to be back. You know, I want to get some deals closed, meet you guys, and it's a privilege to be here.
Awesome. Welcome. Stood up.
My name is Ivan. Been with David for what, 4 years already? 4 years, and from Sacramento originally, trying to move over here to San Jose, and pretty much spoke to. Thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure to meet everybody here in the office, and hopefully to start working with you guys as well in the future.
Awesome. Let's give it up. Welcome. Let's go. Okay. So guys, on the agenda today, we're going to go through some of our housekeeping stuff. And then the second half of our meeting, I actually have Melissa, our TC. Some of you guys have never met her or never seen her. So she's going to be jumping on to just kind of go over some of the stuff on the TC side that we need to be aware of just to make our processes smoother. And so she'll be on probably around about 15 or 20 minutes or so. But let's run through some of our housekeeping stuff. Let me go ahead and pull up my agenda here. One thing before I start, did everybody track their numbers on the spreadsheet today? Who hasn't done that yet? All right, let's just take 2 minutes, guys, to get our numbers tracked. It is in Slack. I don't want to forget that. Some of you guys almost got lucky, almost dodged me right now. I did put that this morning, though. You can log on from your phone or from your laptop. That's going to be on the general channel. You'll see it here, guys. I posted it at 9:15. Here's the form. You click on this form, and then you will see the questionnaire here. Just a few questions. If anybody's having trouble finding the link or anything, just let me know and I can repost it if you need me to.
I am.
Okay. In the general channel, I'll repost it again. So it's the newest message in the general channel. You found it?
Yeah.
Okay. Go.
You sharing that?
There we go. See everybody's numbers coming in.
I don't know if you're trying to share it. It's not.
There we go. Sorry. So all your answers, guys, should just be numbers, okay? So if it's just put a number. If you made 100 calls, put 100. If you don't know, you can look in FUB and see how many you dialed. Like Tawana, you have a few of them that say not yet. You could just put zeros on those ones. So if you don't have anything for that section, just put a 0. I'll fix that for you. Anybody still tracking? Jesse, you put 3 SOI 30. What did that mean right there?
Just sphere of influence calls.
Was the total, was it because 33 total? Okay. I'm just gonna change yours to 33. All right, we're gonna put these in order, guys, just to see who got after it with calls. As these come in. So remember, guys, once again, right, this is all data. This is for you to learn. Was it a good week for you? Was it not a good week? Could I have stepped it up more? Do those numbers look good to me? Is that the pace that I want to push my business at, right? If you're happy with the number, great. If you're not happy with the number, this is your time to take in that data and say, okay, what do I got to do this week, right? And so there's no right or wrong, right? There's no judgment. It's just really for you to build off of, right? Some weeks are going to be higher than or lower. But just shout out, guys, to some people that really got after it in phone calls this week. Like Rob had 352 calls. Sheetal 177, Tom 154, Luis 125, Megan 94, Hayden 80, and then the numbers kind of trickle down from there, guys. So was that number of calls, was that a good number for you or not, right? This is all for your own internal analysis. Could you have made some adjustments to get more calls in this week, right, is what we want to know. And so take accountability on where you're at, and then do what you got to do this coming week to, to either double down or improve that number if that's what you want to do, right? Appointment set. Shout out to Luis, 6 appointments set. Jesse, 6. Rob, 5. George, 5. Mark, 5. Megan, 4. John, 4. Blanca, 4. Dionisio, 3. And then the numbers kind of go down from there. 2s, we got a few 2s, we got a couple 1s, and then we got a few 0s as well, all right? At the very minimum, guys, how many appointments should we shoot to set every single week? What do you think? Like, if you want to at least get one deal in contract per month, how many appointments do you guys think you need to set every week? 10 a week?
Maybe 5.
5. Let's do the numbers, right? So what we had said before is if you, for every 10 appointments that you book, you should get 1 deal, right? And that could be 10 appointments in a month. That's kind of the numbers that we had said, right? Because if you book 10, let's say half of them don't show up or they cancel or reschedule, that means you met with 5 people. Out of those 5, you should be able to convert 1 of those into a deal, right? If you're converting at a 20% or 25% of the people that you meet. right? So just think of it that way, guys. It's a really simple number. If you want to get one deal in contract every month, you got to be booking 10 appointments per one deal, right? And then you could spread that up, divide that up over the 4 weeks, right? So 10 appointments a month set, that's like what? 2 to 3 a week, right? If you're booking 2 to 3 a week consistently every single week, you're going to hit at least 10. You're going to be able to get one deal, right? And then it goes from there. And so that's kind of the bare minimum, I would say, right? We want to, because we can't get half of a deal, right? So if we want to get one deal, the number is 10 per month. Divide that up per week. That's 2 to 3 appointments, right? And so those of you that didn't book 2 or 3 appointments in the week, you got to ask yourself, is it a calling issue? Is it a scripting issue? Do I have enough opportunity, right? Am I getting in front of enough people? And if you don't, then come to us for help, right? Like, hey, I need some more leads to call, or hey, I am making the calls, but I'm having trouble getting people to commit, right? Or I'm booking appointments, but they're not showing up, right? Like that's the other thing too that happens, right? And that's where we can help you and coach you. So the numbers also help you figure out what you need to fix in your business. You guys follow me? All right. The ones that met, we'll put these in order as well. Let me see. So Jesse was 6 for 6. He set 6 appointments and met with 6 people. Solid. Luis met with 5. Rob met with 5. George with 5. Mark 4. John 4. Blanca 3. Steve with 3. Dionisio with 2. Shito with 2. David with 2. Nargiza with 2. And then we have a few 1s and a couple 0s there, right? Buyers are listing sign. What I want to look at the other one is open houses, right? Who worked open houses this week? All right, let's see. All right, Patricia, 2 open houses. Jesse 1, Rob 1, John 1, Hayden 1, Matt 1, Tom 1. Open houses, guys, are a great way to go out there and build your business, right? So we're going to keep pushing open houses because also you get paid more on open houses as well, right? Zillow's not taking a cut. It's not considered a team lead. It's an agent generated lead. And so I want to push you guys to go out and do the activities that make you more money, right? Because if you make more money, then you're going to last in the business more, right? So I strongly suggest if your weekends are not filled with appointments, like showing appointments or you're meeting with sellers, you should be working an open house, at least 1 open house, right? If you can do 2 on that weekend, great. But you know, there's a lot of zeros here, right? And so the question I would ask to all of these zeros is, was your weekend full with showings or not, or appointments? And if it wasn't, then why do we still have a 0? Because it's either one of those, right? Like we work on the weekends. You guys agree? Like realtors, we work on the weekends, right? So, and if you need open house opportunities, guys, we have some. There's other ones from other people in our in EXP. We know other agents outside of EXP that'll let us work their open houses. So come to us if you want to get open house opportunities. And then the last one that I want to look at really quick is just who is putting themselves out there on social media, right? Matt, blowing up, bro. 14 posts on social media. Were these stories or posts on your feed? Posts. So 14 posts in the last week.
Media, sorry, Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, solid, bro. Putting yourself out there, right? Lots of people posting, right? To all my ones with zeros. Why aren't we posting? Why aren't we free publicity, right? How much does it cost to go buy a billboard, guys? Who knows how much it costs to rent a billboard and advertise yourself? Thousands of dollars? How much does it cost to just post on social media? 0, right? So guys, I'm gonna just say this in a nice way. You gotta post yourself on social media. You gotta promote what you're doing. If you're working an open house, show people, hey guys, I'm at my open house. If you just close a deal, hey guys, I just closed this deal. If you're out with the family, hey, I'm out with the family, right? Like show all sides of you. I want to call on Blanca. Blanca, we had a one-on-one yesterday and we talked about social media. What was your big takeaway from the things that we talked about on your social media on how you can take it to the next level?
Yeah, it was really good just because you opened up my social media. Sometimes we post, but I don't think we just kind of look at it from a view, like what does it look like? If someone pulls me up, what does my social media look like? And I had a lot of my wins, a lot of my pending sales close, but I'm not showcasing a lot of who I am personally or in my business. So for me, it's going to be more posting personal and kind of just doing a little bit of both personal and business, just so that my audience knows a little more about me as well.
Yeah. And what was the other one we talked about on every buyer or seller you get?
Yeah.
What's one thing we should have?
And that's actually something that I am incorporating with our photographer is I'm going to be doing testimonials from my clients and also just showcasing videos on my listings, because I'm not currently doing that. So I'm missing opportunity there as well.
Yeah. So Blanca, guys, is consistently closing deals, right? And she is putting herself out there on social media. But what we looked at is a lot of what's on her social media is just her resharing or just listed, just sold and stuff like that, which is fine, right? That kind of checks one box. But when I pulled up her page in front of her on the screen, you can see that her whole entire wall just looked like just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold, right? And there was very few that were of her personally or behind the scenes or even videos of her sharing her expertise. So I'm like, hey, if it was me, and we want to diversify this. So people know you close deals, like you could tell, but just by looking at your wall. But do they know who Blanca is and how good she is, right? Like outside of just listed or just sold, right? So the recommendation is, hey, you got to start showing people while you're out showing homes, while you're prepping, you know, for a listing appointment. Like show people the behind the scenes stuff and let them into more of who you are, so that when they look at your page, they're seeing everything. They're seeing your wins, they're seeing who you are, and then start incorporating some video on your listings. Because on our listings, we haven't done a good job of just doing videos for our listings, right?
Yeah.
And so that's something that's worth her investing money into, because if she records a video for her listing, she gets to keep that video forever, right? So maybe it costs like $200, $300 to do a video, a professional video of her showcasing her listing, but now she can use that on every listing appointment she goes on. Now it's an asset that she owns, right? So that's the next level for Blanca, right? But that doesn't mean that you guys can't all do that as well, right? Are we taking advantage of the tools that are out there and showcasing ourselves as much as possible, right? Guys, I promise you, like if you really like just buy into that, you're going to unlock more opportunities. People are going to start hitting you up, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to convert business, right? When people Google you or look you up, they see all this stuff that you have. They're like, okay, this person's legit, right? And so the question I want to leave you with before we move on is, if I were to look your social media up or just Google your name, would I be impressed? Or would I be like, would I even know you're a realtor? Right? What would I see? Think about it. If I have a $2 million house and I'm thinking of you somehow connected with me through Zillow or whatever, or referral, and I'm thinking about who I'm going to pick, and I'm going to go, let me just Google your name. What pops up? Am I going to be impressed by what I see? That says, okay, this is the right decision for my $2 million home, right? Or is there going to be nothing at all, right? Those are things that we got to ask ourselves, right? So I want to challenge all of you guys to like really take ownership of your business and say, how can I be that person where if someone Googles me, they're going to be impressed by what they see? It's a long-term journey, guys, but if you want to last in this business and you don't want to only rely on Zillow leads, right? You've got to start building your name out there. You've got to start building your brand. You've got to start using the free channels that are out there, right, to get yourself out there. Any questions, guys?
Enrique, can you just bring up the accountability, the numbers again?
Yep.
I want us to, I mean, we have, I think this is great, guys, that we do this now, because we can't hide behind the numbers, right? We know our activities, kind of focusing on this. And I want Enrique kind of to expand a little bit, you know, if someone, you know, again, the great thing about this, it resets every week, right? So if you're not happy with your numbers, your production, or your activity from last week, you know, it starts over again, right? So I know it's really simple, Enrique, but what advice would you give someone if you're looking across these numbers, right, and they have a bunch of zeros? I mean, what's a polite but pretty blunt way of this? Okay, guys, this is what I look at. I really look at like the meat and potatoes, right? I really look at, okay, look at the activities, right? I know we have leads. I know we do trainings. We have awesome video. We have a media room. We have all these tools, right? So again, I want Enrique's perspective, right? Because he puts together this awesome training. You know, we hold ourselves accountable as a team, right? And so when you're looking at this, Enrique, if someone's on our team and, you know, they have zeros, again, the great thing is they restart. So
Yeah.
start off positive, restarts this week. So can you give us some advice, kind of a take?
I think it's not really advice. I think it's a question, right? The question that I would ask the person that has just is consistently putting up zeros is, have you decided yet that you're ready to take this serious? That's the question, right? Why are you doing this? Why are you in real estate? Why did you go get your license, right? That's the question I would ask, right? Because guys, like, anybody can get a license. It's not that hard to get a license. The barrier of entry on real estate is very, very low. In fact, if you want to become a cosmetologist, you have to take like 1,500 hours of of doing hair before you can get your license. It's really hard to become a cosmetologist, right? To do hair, makeup, or whatever. But it's really easy to get your license for real estate, right? You just take 3 classes online. You basically can cheat because it's open book. You could Google the answers for your 3 courses, right? And then you got to study for the state test, and it's only 70 questions. You got to get a C on the test, right? So unfortunately, that lets a lot of people in, right, into the business, you know. But as soon as you get your license, you can immediately start showing multi-million-dollar homes, and you can make a $50,000, $100,000 paycheck on a deal. Think about that, right? So I think when you say it like that, it puts it in perspective. So maybe some people need to be reminded, guys, of the opportunity that's in front of us. Like, in my career, I have generated millions and millions of dollars in revenue from real estate, right? And I didn't graduate college. I went to college for a couple years, right? Graduated high school, dropped out of college. But when I saw the opportunity, I freaking went all in. I was the youngest kid in the office, right? With braces. Jason remembers me, right? People would ask me, how old are you? When I walked in the freaking door, and you would say, wait till he talks, right? And literally, when I was 23 years old, I grossed $500,000. And I'm not saying that like to impress you or anything like that. I'm saying that because I would never, ever have this opportunity in my life, right? Like, ever. You know what I mean? So I think some of us just forget like what sort of opportunity we have. You know, and it's not about the money. It's like the things that this can do for your lifestyle. Real estate has taken my life to, like, I'm changing my generations to come because I got into real estate and took this business seriously. My kids will have a different life than I had growing up, right? Their kids will have a different life. Who knows what will happen to PRG the day we die, if that's going to get passed on to someone because we decided to go all in and take this shit serious. So I don't think that goes back to my question. When are you going to start taking this serious, right? Or do you know what you have in front of you? Because like, when you know what you have in front of you, you don't need to be motivated. No one needs to motivate me, guys. I'm fucking motivated every day. And I've been that way since I was 20 years old. I'll be 43 now. I've been in the business that long, right? Because I'm like, dude, I need to get this. I need to get this. I need to grow. And when you do that, no one needs to tell me to make my calls. No one needs me to tell me to work open houses. No one needs to tell me to show up to training. No one needs me to tell me to post on social media. When you know the power that you have with just your real estate license, guys, a simple ass license, and what that could do, you should not have goose eggs. And if you do, then you should be like going out swinging, right? Like, you should have 1,000 calls and goose eggs on everything else. That's fine, but you have 1,000 calls. You went out swinging, right? So I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I look at it because, again, Enrique and I, we've been doing this for over 20 years. I know John's been doing it for a while. We have Blanca, Robert's been doing it for a while. Steve, and like Enrique said, there's so much opportunity. And the way we've created it at PRG, I just see like, man, there's like fucking so many leads coming in. We have trainings. You guys are well scripted, well trained. But when I see the zeros, that just looks like it's not a skill thing. It's more of a will thing, right? It's like, are you willing to put in the work? And I know we got Melissa on, but I really wanted to touch on that because I like that we do that on a weekly basis, is because now there's no hiding behind the numbers.
Yeah.
It's like, these are the numbers. This is your productivity. This is how, you're a real estate agent. You're coming into the office, doing this training, but are you doing the calls? Are you doing the open houses? Are you doing your social media?
Yeah.
Are you doing your follow-up? Right. And to me, that's the work, guys. That's the hardest part about being a sales agent, is putting in that work, right? Showing a home to me is easy. right? That part is easy, but picking up the phone, following up, and getting someone to trust you, that's going to be the tough part.
Yeah. How bad do you want it, guys? Because if you want it bad, like the answers will come. You'll figure out the answers. I have some people that hit me up all the time, like trying to learn and trying to grow. And I have some people I never hear from. I'm just going to keep it real. I have some people that call me, text me, they're slacking me. Hey, can you check this out? Hey, I got something to run by you. And those are typically the people who are consistently producing. And then I have some people that I forgot if they were on the team or not. You know what I mean? Just because I never hear from them. And so, like, I'm answering calls sometimes at 9 o'clock at night. You know, Luis calls me at night and I'm like, I got to answer his call because like I got to help him move his deal forward. So like we're committed, guys. Like if you need the help, if you want the training, if you want one-on-ones, if you're like, I'm struggling, like we're going to help you, but we can't make you do it. Right. And I can't coach you on how to get out of zeros. Like if you come to me, hey, I need help, and I just see a bunch of zeros, there's nothing for us to talk about. Because I can't even like listen to a call and say, hey, do this differently on a call if you have 0 calls, right? But if you come to me, I got 200 calls, guys, I'm just not booked. Well, let's pull up your calls. Let's listen to them. Let's figure out what we could tweak. So if there's no body of work, there's no game film. We can't watch, game film, right? Like football, right? They go watch the film. If the game was never played, there's nothing for me to coach you on, right? So it just goes back to guys like how bad do you want it? How serious are you taking this? But the opportunity is there. There's people winning on our team, making a lot of money. And even outside of our brokerage, there's people crushing it right now, regardless of what you hear in the headlines, regardless of where the rates are at, the war, there are people making millions and millions of dollars right here close to us in real estate, right? It's out there for the taking. How much of a slice of that pie do you want, guys? Right? I don't know. I knew it was going to be a good meeting today. Let's go. All right. Let's just clap it up, guys, if we're ready to get after it. Come on. Let's go. Melissa, we want to welcome you. We said a big speech and everything.
Thank you.
Let me pin this tile right here. Some of you guys have met Melissa. Some of you guys maybe thought she was AI or something. Some people have never seen you, right? But I'm going to introduce Melissa. We've been working with Melissa for a long time, right? She runs a lot of the back end stuff. She's our TC. She's the one that makes all the deals go through, all the paperwork, the addendums, dealing with these crazy files and stuff like that. So I want to start bringing Melissa on more, even if it's once a month or every couple of weeks, just so we can stay up to date on what things do we need to do to make our files go smoother. Because it's one thing to get a deal and you get it in contract, but then if it's messy and it falls apart, you're back to square one, right? And so the more we can streamline this, and make sure that, we're following through on the back end, the more success we're going to have. And then also what I want to get clear on today too, is what's Melissa's role versus what's, my role, Jason's role, Andrea's role as well. So that we're staying in our lanes and we're asking the right people the right questions, right? So that this can run like a more well-oiled machine. Does that make sense, guys? Melissa, you could go ahead and take it away. Where do we start?
Well, for the people that have, that may be new into the office, just give a little background about myself. I've been in the business, long time, like, everybody else, Enrique and Jason, for over 25 years in the real estate business. I do have my real estate license and I've had it for a little over 21 years now. I have my own TC company, which I've had for a little over 17 years now and been working with Jason and Enrique for that long. So it's been a long time. So I'm well oiled as far as like what's needed, as far as the real estate world goes. I'm on top of it. I have to do all of the trainings, keep up with my license, just like everybody else does. So, I do know, a little bit more than the average just TC who does not have their real estate license. So just with that being said, there's that. But then just like Enrique said, for as far as my TC role would go, once you guys, submit your canned response, then I will go ahead and start working on the file on my end. I get everything uploaded to SkySlope. I review all the documents, make sure there's no signatures, initials missing, or any other added documents that we might need for our file. EXP does require some additional docs. They do have their own office disclosure. So just in, you know, they're really on it as far as, you know, everything being completed and what we need. And so they do review our files, but they will flag us on items sometimes. So sometimes when you receive some additional documentation, it's because the office compliance team has alerted us to go ahead and get that done. So I usually will take care of that. It's really important that when you do submit any kind of deals to me, especially if it's your first time, to provide your car or zip forms, zip logics, whatever you're using, your login and password to me, so that way that I can get on it and prepare any documents that may be needed as soon as I start the file. So yeah, that's pretty much, you know, I deal with escrow, I'll deal with the lender, all of that other kind of stuff. Feel free to ask me questions if there's anything that I will or will not do. I do the DocuSigns for disclosures, get all of that uploaded to SkySlope. So that's pretty much, you know, my role in a nutshell. I'm here for questions or whatever. A lot of people do reach out, so I don't have a problem with that. And do you want me just to keep going?
Yeah, so I wanted to step in just to, I think it's important to clarify what's a Melissa question and what's a Enrique or Jason or Andrea question, right? So what we want to reserve Melissa for, guys, is anything that's in contract. So if you have a deal in contract, you get a buyer in contract, now it goes to Melissa's department, right? It goes to the TC. Her and Andrea are working together. Tin is one of our virtual assistants who kind of supports the back end as well. But that's the time where if your deal's in contract, you know, you could reach out to Melissa if you have questions, right? Maybe it's regarding contingencies or things we got to do. But Andrea and Melissa are the point of contacts once it's in contract, right? Anything before it gets in contract, that would be considered more of the sales part of it, right? You're still trying to get a deal in contract. You're still selling. You're still trying to get the client to sign or to try to submit the offer or the whatever it might be. Anything sales, that's where you come to me, come to Jason, or your mentor, right? If you're newer and you're still going through mentorship, you should have a mentor on your first 3 deals. So you're going to want to go to your mentor first. If your mentor is not available, then I would say come to me or come to Jason, right? Let me give you an example. You're writing an offer, right? You have a buyer, you're writing an offer, and you want someone to double check the offer before you write it. You wouldn't, is that sales or is that back end? Is that deal in contract yet, or is that more of the sales part? Sales, right? So you wouldn't go to Melissa, say, hey, Melissa, I'm writing an offer. Can you double check my offer for me? Because Melissa's going to say, well, is this deal in contract? I don't have this file yet, right? So you wouldn't go to her for that. But you would come to me or your mentor and say, hey, Enrique, can you double check my offer before I send it out? All day. That's what a lot of you guys send me your stuff and I check them. You guys will Slack them to me or email them to me. I'll check them and I'll get back to you, right? Or your mentor. If someone's helping you on the deal, remember your mentor is getting paid commission on the deal. So who should you go to first? Your mentor, right? Because that's the whole reason your mentor is assigned to you, to help you navigate that transaction. What I've seen sometimes is like a newer agent has a mentor and then they're bypassing the mentor and going straight to me, right? Remember, if you go straight to me, your mentor's still going to get paid the same amount, right? They're still going to get their, piece of the deal. So it's better to utilize them. And now you guys are working that deal together and they're probably involved with the process or talking to the client with you. There's no reason to bypass your mentor and come to me, right? Or go to your mentor, ask a question, you don't like the answer, so then you come to me, you ask me a question, and you don't like the answers, and then you go to Andrea, and then you ask like 4 people the same question, right? But I want to give examples of sometimes what I've seen, right? Just because what it does is it kind of clogs up the system, right? And so remember, contract to close, if it's in contract or it's a listing signed and now it's in Melissa's hands, then by all means, Melissa is there to answer your questions. The other thing too, guys, to keep in mind is that Melissa navigates a lot of transactions, right? You may have your 1 or 2 deals. Melissa's probably navigating 20 or 30 or 40 deals at once, right? So her workload is a lot. So the best way to get in touch with Melissa is how, guys? Slack. They can Slack you, right, Melissa? Email. But what we prefer for all deals, if it's a deal in contract, then you want to send a message to the admin team, follow-up boss, right? Is keep everything in follow-up boss, right? Because then what happens is we get to see the history. Now, if some of you guys have Melissa's personal number and you guys are texting Melissa a question, that question never shows up in follow-up boss, right? So she might give you an answer and then we don't know what happened with that. And we go back and look in the notes and we have no idea that that conversation ever took place. So you guys see where that can like cause confusion, right? So we should keep everything in follow-up boss if it pertains to a transaction. If it's a general question, right, then you can message her through Slack. I would try not to text Melissa, right? Because if she has 40 files and everybody's texting her, what do you guys think her text message thread is going to look like, right? And so I think email is the best way to get a hold of her. Now, Melissa, I'm going to speak for you, Melissa. Melissa has a hard time saying no sometimes. She'll get all these texts and she'll respond to them because she wants to be a team player. And then she's overwhelmed because now she's like, hey, I was on a phone for an hour with so-and-so and like all the other files are getting backlogged, right? And so what I want to say is, Melissa, permission to say, hey, can you put that message in FUB? You know, if you have an urgent question, you can come to me anytime. Urgent question, hey, it's an emergency, can't get a hold of Melissa or whatever,
But I think,
like
you know,
all
I think
day,
that's
right?
the point. Just kind of really reinforcing that everything needs to go through FUB and give her time to respond, guys. Again, not the only file, but give her time to respond. I think it's important, but yeah, everything goes to FUB.
Yeah.
Just make it simple. We shouldn't be texting Melissa. You know, again, if it's not about a file, maybe it's just a question. Yeah, that's fine. But if it's on a file, everything has to go to FUB.
Yeah. Melissa, do you want to add anything to that? Because I just want to make that clear because I know that was something that keeps coming up, right?
Right.
Just making sure. And the
We can keep it all in FUB because, like you said, we all have access to it. You do, Andrea, the agents, Jason. So it's helpful because sometimes I don't know what's going on a file because I'm not getting a response back from email. But if I go and I look on there, sometimes I can find my answer just by scrolling through FUB and seeing what the communication has been going on with the client or what Andrea's done as far as scheduling any inspections or so kind of that I can get like most of my questions answered almost immediately without even having to bother anybody. So then I just make a notation in my file and we're good to go. So
yeah, let me.
FUB's definitely the way it is.
Sorry. Let me show you guys just what it looks like on FUB so you guys can see, right? Because I want you guys to see what we see. So every week, me and Andrea meet. I meet with Andrea every Wednesday at 11 a.m. We have a repeating meeting every week, and we go over all the files one by one, right? So when we go into our follow-up boss, we have a deals section where it shows every single deal that we're working on, right? Buyers in contract, listings in contract, active listings, listings signed, listings that canceled, deals that close. And so we create a file for every single one. So I can easily, like this is Mark's deal right here on Terstena Place, right? So I can click on this one and I can see all the contacts, all the messages that are happening, right? If I want to just look at notes only, right? I can look at notes and I can see, you know, what sort of notes are in there, right? Or I can see if you guys are communicating through this as well, right? And so also every single deal that we click on, it pulls up like a little card, right? And so on the card, it'll have all the information. So when you guys submit the CAN response, they copy all that information onto this deal card, right? So I can see your whole CAN response. So everything that Mark submitted here, you know, what was the commission, the address, who the agents are, all the notes, all that good stuff, any files that he uploaded with the original submission, it's all there, right? And so if everything is in FUB, it just makes our life a whole lot easier. Now, what do you do if you're putting a message in FUB and no one is responding to you, right? What should we do, Andrea? If we put a message in FUB and it's been like all day and no one's responded, what should the agent, send a Slack, right? Give her a call, right? Andrea, you guys can call her more freely, right? Like that's her job, right? But Melissa's role is really just like she's processing a bunch of files at once. And so I would say she's not the one you want to call, right? If for some reason Melissa's not answering, call Andrea, call me, send me a Slack. Hey guys, I sent the message earlier, Melissa. I have this issue, whatever. I haven't heard back from anyone. Can someone assist me? Right? Or you guys can go into FUB and put another note, and you can put at Enrique, at Andrea, right? And then now we get a ping, and then we're jumping on that immediately, right? And so it's just important that the chain of command is going in that order so that the deals run smoothly, right? You have anything?
I was just gonna say, I would just steer away from at and follow up us at and Slack and then at and text. Cause then at some point, like I want to make sure that we just keep it on follow up us.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you need to say, hey, what's the status on this? Maybe I'm like driving around, looking at a property or whatever. If you give me a call, then I pick up. But I would just steer away from adding at the same time on all like areas. Because then we're like, okay, we're gonna explain it here, but then I don't want to explain it here and then have to like sure it up on all ends.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes I get it. We got deals. There's, it feels urgent. Sometimes we panic, right? I think the more you've done deals, the less you panic, right? If it's like your first deal, like people are panicking. Oh, the agent said something. Let me freaking message everybody, right? On every portal and everything. And then you got that one deal and you're holding on to that one deal, right? And you don't want it to fall through. But guess what, right? There's systems in place. There's a process. There's a checklist of everything that has to happen on every file. If it's a buyer in contract, there's like a 50-point checklist for every buyer in contract, right? If it's a listing, so you can't really break anything, right? And so I would just encourage you, right? Imagine like if you're doing that on one deal, imagine if you had 5 deals going on at once. You'd pull your freaking hair out, right? So sometimes we got to just take a chill pill, just follow the system, put the message in there. If it's been a couple hours, no one's responded, then escalate it to the next step, right? Send a Slack, call Andrea, call me, and then I'll make sure we get on it, But keeping yourself mellow and cool and calm and collected in a deal is very, very important to the longevity of your career, right? Because it's easy to get stressed out really fast, right? It's just real estate. What else?
I just wanted to chime in on that thing. So when I think it's really important that when you do a FUB message, put at Melissa or at Andrea or at Enrique, whoever you're trying to contact, because for the most part, I'm not toggling back and forth through that in FUB. I do have FUB up, but I will check it a couple of times a day, but I'm primarily in my email all day long. So when I get an at, it'll alert me via email immediately. And then as soon as I can get to that, I will go in and I'll make my or be like on it or answer the question. But sometimes if I don't get that at, I'm not really seeing that I have an alert, and I'm not going to, it's just hard for me to go through every single one of our FUB files every day if there's nothing going on. So if there's an at Melissa, then it'll come to me email, and then that's my alert or my cue to go and check what it is you guys need. So that's very helpful. I know that was an issue before, but it's been working out really well since the last time we brought it up, and that the agents are doing that. So as long as we get an at, then it'll alert us. So that's very helpful on our end as the admin team.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. The other thing too that's important, I know we've talked about this, Melissa, is if you get a deal in contract, you need to get the CAN response in right away, right? There's some people who are really good about it. Like they got the deal in contract at 1 o'clock, and like at 1:10, the CAN response is already in. And there's some people that got the deal at 1 o'clock, and like by 3 o'clock, 3 days later, the CAN response finally comes in, right? Do not do that, guys. It's very, very important, because that can like screw things up, right? Because the team cannot work on your deal until they receive the information from you. They don't know that you have your deposit due in 24 hours, right? Or that you're non-contingent, or you have a short close, or you need inspections right away because you got a short contingency, right? So if you send your CAN response in late, then they're going to put it in the queue, right? Maybe they got 3 other files that day. And now you're 3 days late, but then now there's 3 people in front of you, right?
You send it on a Friday and
Yeah, or you got it on contract on a Friday and you don't send it into a Monday, guys. That's not how it works because the clock is already ticking, right? So if you get a deal in contract, guys, as soon as you get that deal, the next thing you should do is send that CAN response in. And if it's like after hours, send a message in Slack. Hey, Andrea, just giving you a heads up. I know it's after hours. I just sent this in. There's a short window or whatever. I just want to give you a heads up, right? That's how you're now working in conjunction with your team. That's how you move deals faster.
yeah, just don't set and forget it.
Yeah.
Especially when there's a circumstance like that.
You got to make sure you hand the ball off correctly, right? To the next player so that they can run with it. That's a big one, guys. And it has to be complete, right? That's the other thing too, is if you send a CAN response and you're missing the purchase contract. Well, then what the hell are we going to do with that file? We don't got the purchase contract, right? Or you're missing the pre-approval that came with the purchase contract, or you're missing certain disclosures. It's an incomplete file, so there's nothing we can do with it at that point, right?
It becomes piecemeal.
Yeah, and then you're piecemealing stuff. Just think about it, right? So I want everybody to just get in the habit of like just really being diligent with your files, because the sooner that we can get that file in process, the sooner that everybody can start working, and we could even close early sometimes on deals and you get paid faster, right?
You like the lending side.
Yeah.
Quick so we can disclose it too.
Yeah.
Same thing with us on the lending side, guys. Immediately, once you get in contract, you'll see us ping you. Send me the contract and send me the contact info for the escrow. So we can immediately get those fees and get the disclosures out.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Let's
We
see.
have our processing side.
Yeah. And so it's just, I think the main thing, guys, is Melissa, I know we don't have time to really go into a lot of like detailed stuff, but I think it's good to have you on, even if it's every few weeks, even if it's just for 15, 20 minutes, if there's something like we have to be aware of, right? Like, hey guys, there's this new disclosure that is required on all deals, or hey, here's what I've been noticing lately. Things like that, so that the system just runs smoother. And a lot of it is just repetition, right? And once you've done a few deals and you've done them the right way, then it should be smooth sailing after that, right? Anything else, Melissa, you want to add in before we?
No, good. I think we're good. We can go over different things like on the next call or something. Is just like little things to kind of clean up our documents and stuff as far as the office is concerned. The only thing, since we're talking about canned responses, so let's go off of that, is just to make sure that all documents that you have are included on there. I believe it says to include everything on there, but it's really important, the purchase contract, any contingency removals, pre-approval, proof of funds. And it's really important for the buyer broker representation agreement to be on there as well. Yeah, and then just make sure that I have the executed contract, because sometimes we don't have that. So, or that's important we have that, because that's I know that sometimes you guys put in the date that it was ratified, but I always like to verify. I'm not going to just go off of what's in that canned response. I'm doing my due diligence to make sure that our timeline is on point and we're all could be on the same page as far as what side we are on, if we're the listing or the buyer side. And then that way we can all be in agreement and move forward that way. But
Absolutely. That brings up one more last big one, guys. That's important, is when it comes to the buyer broker agreement and the commission. It's very, very important. I know we've talked about this, but I want to say it again. If the seller is not paying all of your commission, let's say your buyer broker is for 3% and the seller only agreed to 2.5%, there's a gap there, right? Someone needs to cover that gap, right? And so if the buyer is going to be the one covering that gap, we need to know about that up front, and we need to go a step further and make sure the lender knows about that and title knows about that. Remember, it's your guys' commission at the end of the day, right? So if you didn't say anything, or you just kind of took their word like, oh, I put it on the notes, you got to go a step beyond that, right? Because otherwise that 0.5% can sometimes get lost in the cracks. And if the deal closes and that was never taken care of, like that 0.5%'s gone. We lost thousands of dollars in commission. And it's very, very common, guys. It's happening a lot, not just I think in the industry as a whole. And I've talked to the EXP broker and they're like, this happens a lot because seller's not paying all the commission, buyer's going to cover it, but no one ever finds out. It's not on the settlement statement. The lender never found out about it. They didn't put it on the fee sheet. And then now we're at close of escrow and the buyer's getting surprised. Oh, hey, by the way, you owe 1%. And they're like, well, we already got loan docs, all those different things. And it's like, well, our close of escrow is like in a couple of days. We can't go backwards now, right? And so remember, guys, it's your money, right? It's your commission. You need to make sure that your commission is getting fulfilled and go that extra step to make sure everybody knows about it, right? And you're going to see this more and more, guys. It's going to become more and more common as we're negotiating commissions, especially on the buy side, that the seller's not paying all the commission. Now, the other thing too I want to tell you guys is, remember, when you sign a buyer or broker, it's important that you don't tell the buyer that, hey, if the seller doesn't pay, you don't have to pay me. That's not the way a contract works, right? But there's some people that are doing that, right? Or making the client believe like, hey, if the seller doesn't pay, I don't owe you anything, right? Otherwise, what was the point of the whole contract to begin with? If they could just like change it just on a verbal, right? So remember, we need to explain to our clients that, hey, this is our commission. We're going to try to get the seller to pay most of it or all of it. If for some reason they don't, then we're going to have to figure out a way to settle that, right? George, we had that on yours, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so the seller didn't want to pay the 3%.
Yeah.
He only wanted to do 2.5. So I said, hey, George, well, does the buyer want to pay the 0.5%? Or can you go back and bump your offer up another 0.5% and just tell the seller, like, hey, we're going to bump our offer up to cover that. This way you could pay the full 3. I forgot what you did. You did one of those.
We bumped it up.
We bumped it up and you got your full 3%. Right. So we're getting full 3%, guys, on our deals. Right. But you have to tell the client that, right? You have to make sure you explain it that way versus like, hey, Mr. Client, you know, if they don't pay it, don't worry, you don't have to pay me. That's not how it works, guys, right? You're going to put yourself in a bad position and you're going to lose money, right? If you do it that way. Shito, question.
Okay, when we do the BRBC, we usually put 3%, and we know in the market like sellers only pay 2.5%. So in that case, and when the buyer is not ready to pay us the 0.5, and if we cannot bump the price for the seller to pay, is there any way we can change the BRBC to 2.5 at last minute?
I'm glad you asked that question because we're going to correct some misinformation right now, right? There is no such thing as the sellers only pay 2.5. Everything is negotiable. The whole reason they came out with the BRBC is because commissions cannot be set in standard. So by you saying, hey, sellers only pay 2.5, you're actually violating what the whole point of the BRBC was, right? It's to say that there's no standard commission. It's all negotiable, right? So I want you to take that out of your head completely, that sellers only pay so much, because it's not true. George, you got 3%, right?
Yeah.
Blanca, you got 3% on some of your deals, right? Raise your hand if you've gotten 3% on a deal on a buyer. I have. Okay, so then we just demystify that sellers pay more than 2.5. They pay whatever makes sense based off the net proceeds, right? And so that's the mindset that you have to have. It isn't, sellers could pay 4%, 3.5%, 5%, 10%. It's all negotiable. It's whatever you negotiate with the offer, right? And it's all going to come down to is what does the seller walk away with? So I want to teach you guys how to get paid what you're worth, not just to fall into this trap that sellers only pay this much, because it's not true, right?
They even pay more if you're getting a credit for your buyer, right? If you're getting you 3%, and the seller's also giving a credit for closing costs or buy down.
Yeah.
So sellers are willing to.
George, did we get a credit on yours too? Credit for closing costs on that one? Okay. So George got 3% commission and 20K credit for his buyer. So if you do the percentage, right, the seller paid it was like a $900,000 deal. 925, 20K is like 2%. So the seller actually paid 5%. They paid 3% to George and they paid like another 2-ish% in credits back to the buyer, because the offer price substantiated, like after he walked away, that the seller was comfortable with that. So, right, I want you guys to get, I don't want people to be in the mindset that it has to be only a certain way. Commission is always negotiable. Go out there and fight for your commission, right? And work it out, right? Negotiate back and forth. Let the buyer know, hey, best case seller pays for it all. Worst case, they pay for 90% of it and you owe 10% of the commission structure. Or we go back and we bump our offer up and we get it all rolled into the price, right? That's how you should be selling it and positioning it.
Or we get a lender to give a credit.
Or the lender can maybe give a credit and that covers what you owed in the commission. I mean, there's multiple ways, guys, to structure this. It's not just 2.5. So, Shito, I hope that answers your question. But no, we should not be changing the BRBC after. All right.
No, it should be on a, if we have to ultimately do it, because I know that sometimes you guys do the BRBC with a 3%, but then sellers agree to pay 2.5 and in the canned response, it'll be like, they're, you know, the agent's in agreement with that. So what we would have to do would be a buyer modification of terms to the buyer broker representation agreement. And then we just have to make it match what, the seller is going to pay. So we would just do 2.5%. That's how the EXP broker compliance team likes to do it. So, and then of course, when I get that canned response, I do review both. And then if I like, this is on Mark's deal, the Terrastina. So that was for a good example, that was for that one. So I have a modification. I already prepared a modification and sent that out with the disclosures to be signed. And then I'll submit that to the office. And I already input your commission into the office as well. So that'll take care of that. I do want to just add one more thing, Enrique, when you said as far as like the difference, if there's going to be, the buyers are paying the additional like 0.5%, that I think it would be best if we just got into the habit of when we go ahead and submit our contract and, you know, we're submitting whatever we are to the escrow and to the LO, we just automatically put our buyer broker representation agreement in there. Because I think as far as the contract shows, if it's showing 2.5, but then the buyer broker agreement is showing 3%, well, then now they automatically know there's going to be a 0.5% difference. And that's going to raise a flag and say, okay, where's that coming from? And then they automatically know it's supposed to be charged to the buyer. So that will kind of almost eliminate any confusion as far as title or the lenders are going. I just think that would be helpful for you guys, for me. And if not, then, you know, I will go ahead and make sure that they are aware moving forward on that, because I know that we've had some issues with that.
Yeah. And just to clarify, guys, when we're modifying the buyer broker, it's modifying just to say who's paying which part of it, right? So if your buyer broker is 3% and then we do a modification, 2.5 comes from seller, 0.5% comes from buyer, right? That's the only time we would modify it. We're not going to modify it just to lower, right? Lower. Because then it's like, then it invalidates the whole purpose of signing a contract up front. If you could just keep changing the contract, right? That's the tricky situation we get ourselves in. Blanca, last question, then we got to wrap up.
No, you covered it. I was just going to say that about the difference.
Oh,
yeah, because we had that on Autumnvale. So yeah, kudos to Melissa.
Yeah.
She's on it.
Yeah, on that one, it was you had a 3% BRBC, seller paid 2%, buyer paid 1%.
Correct.
Blanca got her full 3% that she originally asked for, right? Yeah. So guys, it's happening all the time, right? If you just structure it the right way and you set the right expectations from the beginning, we are getting our full commissions.
And just one last
guys,
thing.
I know. Yeah.
Real quick, from experience, guys, with working with Melissa for, I don't know, probably just as long as she's been with Enrique and Jason. As long as we turn everything in fully, Melissa is is a second pair of eyes, and she makes sure everything is in order. Follow this process and makes it a lot easier. Sometimes you have 2-3 transactions, and if you follow this process, it's just streamlined and easy to do. And it makes Melissa's job a lot easier as well.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, I want to thank you guys for being patient. I know we went over a little bit, but I think this was a lot of good stuff that we covered. Let's give it up for Melissa one more time, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining, Melissa.
Yeah.
that's all we got today. Appreciate you guys coming out, and let's get after it this week, guys. Clap it up one more time. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. Let me know if you need anything. Have a great day.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.